this shit? What's up, fight fans? I'm the Hudson Hawk of Mixed Martial Arts, Tommy Toehold, and UFC 195 is gonna kick your fucking dick in, even if you don't have one. Robbie Lawler is fighting Carlos Condit, and the universe may never be the fucking same again. It's a kick-ass card, and what makes it all the more kick-ass is you can join a Kountermove Fantasy MMA game at Kountermove.com and maybe win some cash with your dick kicking. And because I love you and it counts as part of my community service, I'm gonna teach you how to play and who to pick. So let's click on the How It Works tab and watch this video I made. First step is to select a game. There are free games, small games, and big games for all major MMA events. Next, you're gonna pick a team of 5 fighters. Each game is played over the course of a single fight card, and you have $25,000 for $10 to draft a team of 5 fighters. Once you pick your team, you're ready for the last step. Score points and win. Once the fights begin, you get points based on how your fighters perform. Points are awarded for strikes landed, submissions attempted, knockdowns, dominant positions, rounds won, and knockout or submission bonuses. The team with the most points at the end of the night wins the tournament. You are a fucking expert now, look at you. Back on the main screen, it's time to choose a game. There are all different types of games for whatever your needs may be, but the money is my 8K game. $20 gets you in, top prize of $1,600. Choose your game and you're gonna be brought to the team selection screen, which means it's time for me to break this card the fuck down. First up on the prelims, we've got Edgar Garcia taking on Sheldon Westcott. An even bout here, the money reflects that. Both guys are winless in the UFC. Neither guy has a finish since 2013. They're the same age with the same reach. The only difference, and it's slight, is Garcia has a better finish percentage. I think this one goes to a split for Garcia. I'm gonna avoid it. Next up, we've got Joe Soto taking on Michinori Tanaka. Soto went 5 rounds with TJ Dillashaw in his UFC debut, but has been susceptible to knockout in the past. Tanaka has a great judo background and is a tough out in this one. Not much KO threat from Tanaka here, but I think with their backgrounds, this one ends up being a grinder on the ground. Soto via decision may not be a high scorer. Next up, we've got Dustin Poirier taking on Joseph Duffy. Both of these guys are white hot right now. 2 first-round finishes for each in 2015. For me, the deciding factor is that Duffy is still very much an unknown commodity. Poirier has shown time and time again in the UFC that he's game. Whoever wins it, it's gonna end quick. I'm picking Poirier via round 1 finish, going on my team. After that, we got Scott Holtzman taking on Drew Dauber. While Dauber has more UFC experience, he's not fared well, losing 3 of his 5 bouts. Holtzman is an up-and-comer who won his UFC debut via sub. Dauber has 5 decision losses. Holtzman has 3 of his last 5 wins via decision. I think this one goes the distance. Holtzman wins. 5,300 might be too pricey for your team, though. Next, we've got Justine Kish taking on Nina Anzarov. Nina Anzarov had stopped her last 5 opponents prior to her UFC debut, which she lost via decision. Kish is unbeaten in 4 fights. She has a 6-inch reach advantage and has competed in high-level Muay Thai for 10 years. I'm going with Kish, but I don't see her getting the stop here. Likely a decision. Up next, we got Kyle Noke and Alex Morono. This is probably the lowest priced counter-move fight I've ever seen. Noke, a longtime UFC vet, a Team Jackson guy. Morono looks like a killer, but he's only making his UFC debut. Gotta go with experience here. Noke wins, and at 4,500 with 5 of his last 6 UFC wins coming via stoppage, he's a pretty good deal. Next up, we've got Michael McDonald taking on Masanori Kanehari. McDonald coming off a long layoff due to an injury, but a high-level guy before that, with 3 of his last 5 UFC wins coming via stop. Kanehari has a lot of first-round finishes, but against lower-level competition, he's been stopped 7 times. McDonald is young, and he's looking to make a big statement here. McDonald via early stop. Next up, we have Tony Sims and Abel Trujillo. When Tony Sims wins, he wins via stoppage, and he wins fast. He is pure counter move, but he really struggled against a strong wrestler in his last bout, and Trujillo has a strong wrestling background. I'm going with Trujillo to win via decision, unless he decides to stand and bang, which I don't think he will. After that, we have Brian Ortega taking on Diego Brandao. Interesting fight here. Both guys are ground wizards. Ortega's coming off the performance of his career. To me, though, it's going to come down to experience and the best chance for big points, and that comes from Brandao. He's got first-round stops in his last 2 fights, 4 first-round stops in the UFC. Gonna go with Brandao via TKO. Next up, we have Albert Tumanov taking on Lorenz Larkin. Albert Tumanov knocks people the fuck out. That is what he does. 11 KOs. Lorenz Larkin knocks people the fuck out. 10 KOs. Someone is not making it out of this one. The difference here, Tumanov is a very high-level boxer, and I don't think Larkin will be able to keep up with that. Mr. Left Hook wins via first-round KO. Great pick. Now we're on to the co-main. Stipe Miocic taking on Andrei Arlovski. This is a really fun fight. I love both of these guys. Pitbull has had a career resurgence, winning 6 straight with 3 finishes. Stipe is a very smart volume striker, though. He's not going to get himself into a brawl. I think this will be very similar to the Mark Hunt fight. Stipe wins via decision, but it will be a high-scoring affair, and Stipe is a very solid pick. Finally, we've got the main event. The welterweight title is on the line. Robbie Lawler is taking on Carlos Condit. These 2 men are violence incarnate. Robbie Lawler has 20 KOs in 20 26 wins. Carlos Condit has 15 KOs in 30 wins. Both of these guys have been top level for a very long time. Neither of them are getting KO'd though, if history serves. I see it going one of three ways. This is either an all-out bloodbath brawl that leads to a split and a whole bunch of awards, a hugely boring fight where both show each other striking respect without much action that goes to a split where we're uncertain who won, or we get a finish. Now, if we get a finish, the most likely to do that here has to be Carlos Condit, because I don't think either of these guys gets KO'd, but Condit has 13 submission wins in his career. Robbie has been subbed 4 times. With both fighters landing roughly the same amount of punches per minute, it makes the most counter-move sense to go with Carlos Condit, because if there is going to be a stop in this fight, he is the one that likely gets it. All right, now that you've seen the whole card, go with whoever the fuck you want to go with, but I'm going to go with Carlos Condit, Diego Brandao, Dustin Poirier, Stipe Miocic, and Albert Tumanov. Once you've got your squad, hit the play now button, invite some friends whose asses you feel like kicking, and from now to fight night, change your team as much as you fucking want. Maybe you watched Embedded and a fighter looked like they ate some bad cheese. You can take that fighter off your team. All right, so calm the fuck down about the cheese. Why is your fighter eating cheese before a fight? Shit, maybe it is a good idea that you take him off your team. Fight fans, UFC 195 is gonna kick the year off with a bang, and you're gonna enjoy the shit out of it a lot more with Kountermove Fantasy MMA. So sign up right the fuck now and invite every one of your friends that you've ever known. For everybody at Kountermove Fantasy MMA, I'm Tommy Toehold. See you on the leaderboards, motherfuckers!